So, can we stop?
Yes, please.
So, good morning, good afternoon, and evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me today. To begin, I would like to introduce the International Internship University, which is a leading virtual education system and global brand configuration, which is the most valuable and trust worldwide and well-built in delivering innovative programs. Globally, it is a trusted name for quality training programs and is committed to providing better and virtual education to all the young learners of the world. In a short span of time, International Internship University has spread its wings in 195 countries and 6 continents under the strong leadership of its visionary founder, Mr. Piyush Pandit sir, a committed and inspiring social activist, a passionate educationist from the rose to the village, providing education to students from various social and cultural backgrounds. So, just give me 1 minute, I will start sharing my screen. So, here we go. I will start by introducing myself. I Dr. Ameegah Paul gained the privilege as a trainer for the training session on disability by the Training, Learning and Development Department of the International Internship University. So, as I said, I'm Dr. Paul Ameegah from Mauritius. I was born with a cerebral palsy disability. I'm 23 years old. I'm a graduate in IT software and fine art, a PhD holder in political science, and also I'm currently purchasing my LLB. I'm a social activist in Mauritius, the event coordinator and treasurer of APDS Association. I'm also working with different companies and individuals in Mauritius and also in many countries. I'm a certified mentor and global motivational speaker, also a multi-awardee on both national and international level. Today, it's with great pleasure that I will be talking to you about disability, which I think it is not talked often because we live with disability and we want others to learn a bit more about it in order to bring us their support and also to more understand what is disability. I will come with what is disability. A disability is any condition of the body or mind impairment that makes it more difficult for the person with the condition to do certain activity and interact with the world around them. The term is used to refer to individual functioning, including physical impairment, sensory impairment, cognitive impairment, intellectual impairment, mental illness, and various types of chronic diseases. Many types of disability, such as those that affect a person's vision, movement, thinking, remembering, learning, communicating, hearing, mental health, and social relationships. Also, people with disabilities sometimes refers to a single population that is actually a diverse group of people with a wide range of needs. Two people with the same types of disability can be affected in very different ways. Some disabilities may be hidden or not easy to see. Here I have some classification of disability. There are many types include various physical and mental impairments that can hamper or reduce a person's ability
Anu,
to carry. Yes? Are you able to hear me? So I will take again this word. Sorry for this. Categories of disability. Types include various physical and mental impairments that can hamper or reduce a person's ability to carry out their day-to-day activities. These impairments can be termed as disability of a person to do his or her day-to-day activity. Disability can be broken down into a number of broad subcategories, which includes the following 8 main types of disability. I will start with the first one, which is mobility. We can also say physical. This category of disability includes people with varying types of physical disability, including upper limbs disability, lower limbs disability, manual dexterity, disability in coordination of these different organs of the body. Disability in mobility can be either an inborn or acquired with age problem. It could also be the effect of a disease. People who have a broken bone also fall into this category of disability. The next one, we have spinal cord. We can also say spinal cord injury. It can sometimes lead to a lifelong disability. This type of injury mostly occurs due to severe accidents. The injury can be either complete or incomplete. In an incomplete injury, the messages conveyed by the spinal cord are not completely lost, whereas a complete injury results in a total dysfunctioning of the sensory organs. In some cases, spinal cord disability can be a birth defect. The third one, we have head injuries. We can also call it as brain disability. A disability in the brain occurs due to a brain injury. The magnitude of the brain injury can range from light, moderate, and severe. Next, we have vision. There are numbers of thousands of people that have minor to various serious vision disability or impairments. These injuries can also result into some serious problems or diseases like blindness and ocular trauma. Next, we have hearing. Hearing disability includes people who are completely or partially deaf. To note that deaf is the politically correct term for a person with hearing impairment. People who are partially deaf can often use hearing aids to assist their hearing. Deafness can be evident at birth or occurs later in life from several biological causes. Deaf people use sign language as a means of communication. Hundreds of sign languages are in use around the world. In linguistic terms, sign languages are as rich and complex as any other language. Despite the common misconception that they are not real languages. Next, we have cognitive or learning, which we call cognitive disabilities. They are impairments present in people who are suffering from dyslexia and various other learning disabilities and includes speech disorders. We have physical. It is affective disorders. Disorders of mood or feeling state, either short or long term. Mental health impairment is a term used to describe people who have experienced psychiatric problem or illness. And lastly, we have invisible. Invisible disabilities are disabilities that are not immediately apparent to others. So, that are some classification of disabilities that I have tried to put in some easily sentence that we can understand more what all this type of disability and how it affects us. Now we move on with a more serious issues, which I think is everywhere. Here in Mauritius, also in many countries, I think when we talk about sex, it's taboo. It's a thing that the parents are scared to talk about with their children. So today we will talk about disability and sexuality. Most people are sexual beings and have sexual thoughts, attitude, feelings, desires, and fantasies. Having a physical or intellectual disability doesn't change your sexuality and your desire to express it, or the emotions that can go with it. In fact, The World Health Organization says sexuality is a basic need, an aspect of being human that cannot be separated from other aspects of life. If your disability impairs your physical ability to engage in a regular sex life or makes you lack confidence, you may feel worried about having sex. Not some people with or without disability have anxiously about sex and sexual performance. And this feeling of completely natural. Support and information are available if you feel you need help in developing relationships, exploring and expressing your sexuality, or accessing sexual health information and services. This also applies if your disability comes from a chronic illness. It's true that if although you have a disability or if you are a normal human being, we have so many concerns that we may have sex. Today I will share it about it and we will explain a bit about it more profoundly. So, your disability may affect your ability to have the sex life you would like. You may have to approach sexual activity differently, and you may have questions and concerns relating to your physical or emotional health. For example, you may feel concerned about finding a partner, concerned about whatever your partner will find you attractive, a lack of confidence about your sexual ability or performance, concerned about how your body moves and works, anxiously over your partner's feeling about you, concern over pain during sexual activity, less energy and desire for sex, concern about whether you can have children, worried about what others will think and about the discrimination that already exists. You know, it's completely natural to feel frustrated about the effects of your disability on your sex life. It may help to try to understand that you and your partner may have to approach sex differently and find a new or different ways to satisfy each other. But if your feelings about your disability and its effects on your sex life feel overwhelming, you may like to talk to your healthcare professional. If talking to your healthcare professional about sex makes you embarrassed or afraid, you should always remember sex is a completely natural subject, and your healthcare professional should be used to being asked questions about it. Of course, we are in 2022, but still there are many discrimination that exists for us people living with disability. We have some social needs and discrimination about disability and sexuality. Society has many needs, and the ones around disability and sexuality are frustrating. offensive, and incorrect. Some of these links include that a person with disability doesn't need sex or can have a real sex. Some other misguided notions include that a person with disability has more important needs than sex or should not have children. On top of this, many able-bodied people, when I say many able-bodied people, I mean to say that people without disability, which are normal. We tend to regard sex for people with disability as a taboo subject and rarely discuss it openly. Society tends to have an idealized image of sexually attractive and anyone, whatever with disability or not, who doesn't meet the standard that can feel diminished and dismissed. Information about disability and sex tends to focus only on function or fertility and not on perfectly natural feelings and emotions like attraction, desire, and love. To be seen as a non-sexual being can be disgusting. If myths and misinformation are affecting your life, you may feel tempted to avoid sex or limit your opportunities to have sex, such as avoiding meeting a partner when a lack of privacy controls or living arrangement is involved too. We may find sex to be particularly challenging. With all this discrimination, we also have to know the importance of emotions. That our society is an integral part of a human life, so is love. At our very good, most humans want to be loved and accepted. Whenever you have a disability or not, you will know how important love is to you. If you're a extrovert, a friend, a partner, or a person with disability, be aware of how important it is to express your love or regard. If you're not in a relationship, the most important thing to remember is you are not defined by your disability or illness. You are a person who desires and loves like anyone else, and you have a right to it. If you are in a relationship and dealing with issues around disability and sexuality, so these tips may help you to cope with your life. Firstly, we have communicate. It's very important to openly discussing your feelings and concerns in the best way to solve problems together. State your needs clearly, not only around intimacy and sex, but everyday life too. Secondly, we have wake up. Learn all intent about sex in relation or to your condition or disability. Having plenty of knowledge may help you feel more comfortable talking to your healthcare provider too. Third, we have seek help. If the problem seems bigger than you and your partner can work out, consider counseling. Sometimes it helps to get an outside perspective. Fourth, keep an eye on each other. Watch for signs of who have other issues. For example, depression. It's natural to feel sad, but depression is more than sadness and will need to be addressed. Its problem is also the carer. Remember, carers need support and respite. But is how you should acknowledge your new normal. By changes admit if you acquire your disability from an accident or chronic illness, for example, try to accept that your relationship may be forever changed by your disability and see whatever you can come up with a new normal for you both. 6. See friends. Staying socially connected may help you to feel more positive about life. Stress. Many issues, new division of labor, and family responsibilities can cause a lot of stress. Try to address these issues that affect your life, including your desire to be physically intimate. Thus, we have consider kindness. Doing something nice for your partner every day can help bring intimacy and feeling a loving feeling. Sex education. If with disability needs sex education as much as a child without disability. In addition to a general sex education approach, sex education for a child with disability should also cover the fact that people with disability can have fulfilling romantic and sexual life. Sexual issues that may be associated with their disability. Social rules such as civic and public behaviors and personal boundaries. Sex education for a child with intellectual disability child can understand. If you're a parent of a child with disability, it may be helpful to have appropriate information about puberty, menstruation. Both disability can affect when a girl starts menstruating, and romantic and sexual relationship on hand for your child. Children and teenagers with intellectual disability may need longer to get used to the idea of the changes that comes with puberty. We can perhaps then start by tutoring before puberty starts from age 8 to 13 in girls and 9 to 14 in boys. I will now come with disability discrimination. This is everywhere in the society, in our workplace, in school, in university, everywhere we see that people with disability suffer from discrimination. You know, disability discrimination is when a person with a disability is treated less favorably than a person without a disability in the same or similar circumstances. For example, it would be direct disability discrimination if a nightclub or restaurant refuse a person entry because they are blind or have a guide dog. It is also a disability discrimination where there is a rule of policy that is the same for everyone but has an unfair effect on people with a particular disability. This is called indirect discrimination. For example, it may be indirect disability discrimination if the only way to enter a public building is by a set of stairs because people with disability who use wheelchairs would be unable to enter the building. It's also very important to know how to emotionally with having disability. You know, having a disability can be very hard, but there are many ways to accept your circumstances. Firstly, it's important to organize yourself properly. By saying this, I mean to say that you should keep your room, body, and lifestyle clear and organized and really lower your stress level and help you to be more confident. Find help with any household tasks you cannot do for yourself. Second, we have exercise often. Get plenty of exercise in any way that you can. If you're in a wheelchair, then ask the doctor about exercise options for you. There are a lot of them. If you're not able to partake in exercise, then get all the mental exercise you can. Don't be ashamed if you cannot exercise the way other people do. Exercises are designed for people with standard bodies and a full set of normal abilities. Don't measure your progress against other people's. Judge your progress realistically in relation to your own past efforts and results. Stop if it hurts, especially with back injury and disability. Back pain and any other condition that can cause injury. It's important to be quiet and stay calm with obnoxious people. Even if somebody makes fun of you, there are ways to turn around the situation. When someone makes fun of you, keep your dignity. Be aware that hackers has just destroyed his or her reputation. A sarcastic remark or two can help. Judge your timing and the reaction of people around the hackers. Be funnier than they are, especially in public situations with plenty of weaknesses. If you laugh at someone who's trying to put you down, that can be a game changer sometimes. Play to the audience, not to the idiot. You would change the person's mind, but you can make them look as foolish as they are already behaving. Let yourself breathe and go through all 5 stages of grief about your disability. Stick real support from therapists, counselors, and trust friend family members. Learn to judge who's genuinely supportive and who's picking. Pity is just other flavor of humiliation and usually covers up the other's terror of winning up in your situation. Do your best not to take out your grief on the people in your life who are genuinely trying to help, even if they are not good at it. Don't beat, don't beat yourself up for it if they are not nice to everyone. Definitely don't beat yourself up for it if other people treat you badly. That's their problem. That is measure of how ignorant they are or how petty and cruel. Don't be surprised if people stop thinking that you are brave. When you're done grieving and you have become used to something else every day, it stops being a puzzle or a tragedy. As a point, your disability is just the way things are, and you're used to it. This kind of reaction can feel patronizing. That's fair and normal. Even when people are trying to be kind and supportive, when possible, try to accept compliments on your courage graciously, but don't be afraid to explain to them nicely. While you feel no more brave than anyone else, you can say something like, "Oh, someone has different everyone has different challenges in life. There is no need to focus on mine when I'm sure you have your own. Either both of us are brave or either of us are." It's also very important to accept your disability. This is the most difficult part of it as it can be very discouraging. Accept that you may never work, hear, or see again, and that you can still enjoy life. If your disability can be changed with physical therapy and treatment, try the D and fight it every day. Accepting your disability means grieving the loss of a normal status. There's no stigma in a new and a life without enormous inconvenience. It's not right, it's not fair, it's not good. There is no upside to it. But on the other side, it's not something wrong with your character either. This takes the time it does. Orientation or what can be done. Some conditions like blindness or the loss of a limb require extensive retraining to use what prostheses and life strategies can enrich their life. Even if you cannot change the disability itself, you can improve your life by using every assist and strategy available. Don't be embarrassed to use a white can or a service job or a wheelchair. You will be surprised how much easier life is when you have those eight and not. Seek assistance from the community or other disabled people, especially those who have the same condition you do. They understand and they have been through everything you are going through now. They may have numbers and resources for things you think you cannot afford. They understand and accept the guilt that comes with sudden disability and social pressure. Try to overcome other obstacles. That is hobby. Find something that you like to take your mind off of things like jewelry making, woodworking, scrapbooking, painting, drawing, writing, bird watching, collecting, explore interests. Some make successful self-employment or new job skill. Many hobbies are someone as profession. Most of all, find the activities you enjoy most. You will meet other people who get into that and have something more interesting to talk about than your disability. Most of all, do your best. You didn't have a choice about being disabled, but how well you live with it is a choice every day. It's much more important to pat yourself on the back of your successes than to beat yourself up for failure. Don't judge yourself by other people. Learn what you can do and take any progress as something to build on. Disability inclusion. Including people with disabilities in everyday activities and encouraging them to have roles similar to their peers who do not have a disability is disability inclusion. This involves more than simply encouraging people. It requires making sure that adequate policies and practices are in effect in a community or organization. Inclusion should lead to increased participation in socially expected life roles and activities, such as being a student, worker, friend, community member, patient, spouse, partner, or parent. Socially expected activity may also include engaging in social activities, using public resources such as transportation and libraries, moving about within communities, receiving adequate healthcare, having relationships, and enjoying other day-to-day activities. Including people with disability in these activities begin with identifying and eliminating barriers to their participation. Disability inclusion means understanding the relationship between the way people function and how they participate in society and making sure everybody has the same opportunities to participate in every aspect of life to the best of their abilities and desire. To include people with disabilities. Inclusion is not like a light switch that simply turns on or off. It is more like a dimmer switch that you push forward into your life with intentionally focus and performance metrics. It is a journey, not a simple sadness. Communicate from the top of all people, including people with disabilities, how valued and all respected and openly welcome. Acknowledge, understand, and embrace the widespread nature of disability. Disability touches every demographic category, gender, age, class, sexual orientation, etc., and impact most people eventually through accident, illness, or aging. Walk the walk or roll the roll and help your guarantees and members to do the same. Recognize the talents of people with disability. Make a commitment to enable people with disability to develop peer relationships, build social skills, and respect and accept each other. Provide training to make inclusion successful. Inclusion is a lot less expensive than most people think, but it is still take intention to do it effectively. Every organization should provide staff training to achieve success. Sessions on disability ethics and requirements can make everyone more comfortable with an inclusive workplace. These facilities to make them more welcoming to people with disabilities. Facilities should be modernized to accommodate those with disability. Important actions include adding ramps, ensuring accessible bathrooms, and adding automatic opener to main office doors. Hire an inclusion director coordinator to ensure the organization is ready to meet the needs of community members with disabilities. Understand the role of personal care assistant. Some people may need a personal care assistant to communicate, use the toilet, or handle other issues. They are not there to get involved in interaction with friends or coworkers. Their role is to aid and feed, so people with disabilities can work and make friends. Aiders only are involved in interaction at the direction of the person they assist. I have few tips which I would like to share with you all today. Don't compare your disability to others, even if you don't feel represented. Find others who have disability either online or in person. When comfortable, confide in them what you are going through. Become more careful about the information you dig up about yourself and whom you confide in. Doctors can be wrong. Remember, they can be wrong in both directions. Even experts can misjudge whatever your condition can improve or whatever you are not putting enough effort into adapting. You are the only one who knows how much effort you are putting into adapting to your condition. Whatever your disability may be, and however tough it may seem, you will get used to it. You may feel lonely and misunderstood at first, but true friends will be there for you, and you're never ready alone. Recognize and understand that the only person you can realistically count on is yourself. Acquire help from a counselor. A counselor can help. Yes, disability is not inability. Disability is rare or unique for